Welcome back from our holiday break. Welcome back to Tyranny of Dragons. I am, of course, your dungeon master, Dr.JWolfenstein, here with some of my fantastic cast of characters, as you can see. Um, Again, I do the 3-monitor setup, so if you see me looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the actual cameras where my players are. Um, it's just the easiest way to work because right above my screen, where I would ideally put another monitor, is unfortunately a window. So it just doesn't work. But that's neither here nor there. Welcome back. I hope everyone had a great Christmas and a great holiday time with your friends, family, and loved ones. I know New Year's was probably fun for some of you. Maybe you went to a party, maybe you didn't, but hope everyone was safe and had a lot of fun. And 2021 is off to a great start. It really is. But we're here to escape reality, not be reminded of it. So, we are going to dive into our realm of fantasy and spectacularness.
What are you talking about? D&D is reality.
Wait, there's other things than the game?
Right?
You're saying
I mean,
D&D is
love.
the
D&D is
not
life.
real. This is the real.
Yeah. It seems like that's backwards, don't it? Like D&D
I don't know if
actually
you're right about that.
Yeah, like
I
D&D
think
actually
you might-
seems more realistic than, the craziness that goes on in our world.
You might want to analyze your perspective on that one. I don't know. Just a thought.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, man, grow up, get real, get D&D.
Wow.
Accept reality.
Anyway. Oh, pardon me. Jeez Louise, some of us need more sleep.
Yes.
And by some I mean all. But anyway.
You just enjoy another 10-hour nap. We'll all be here in 10 hours to start again.
Yeah. Right? No.
Yeah, I can do an early one before Shadowrun.
The show must go on. But anyway, so we have with us today 3 of our fantastic crew. We have Mr. Mason playing as his Rune Knight. Thank you. The words were escaping me for a minute. His Wood Elf Rune Knight, Mr. Serial. Shut up. Mr. Mason playing Serial.
It's great to see you all again. Another day of wanton recklessness.
We then have our favorite old man. Are you a full orc or a half orc? I can't remember.
Half orc.
All right. Our favorite old half orc, Mr. Rattlegast, played by my brother David.
Cheers to the new year.
I hear that.
And of course, we have Celine the Stargazer, played by the ever lovely Callie Cat, who may or may not one day be on screen.
By the stars above, 2021 is going to be like your boozy, cute friend you want to sleep with.
Boozy cute. That's awesome.
That's a way to put it. We are short a couple of our players. However, going forward, it is with everything getting back to normal slowly, we may or may not end up losing a couple players, or a couple players may end up just unfortunately their attendance being spotty. I have made steps and made preparations to address that, but these 3 seem to be the ones who will be here the most often. Hopefully Wolfenite feels better and he'll be back next week. Mariana is still fixing some things, so she will come back when she's good and ready. And Whitehill, Mr. Thier, is now in school again, so his attendance may be a little spotty, but he will be here as often as he can. We want to thank you all once more for watching, and so when last we left the heroes of Green Nest and the allies to the Harpers tracking down this cultist caravan, they had just entered the town of Dragon Spear. However, upon entering, they were paid by their employer, Mr. Acrony. Yes, Yes, Acrony. The big, smelly, boorish man with the furs. Yes.
The boots with the furs. Whole world looking at her.
That's one ugly her.
She hit the front.
Might as well be a him.
I mean,
Shut up, Callie.
I'll give Acrony a lot of advice. I can knit him a dress.
Advice about getting low?
No, about not
I
being
mean, how
quite
do you get
as
lower
old.
than the grime on his toes?
I was gonna say something. I'm gonna move on.
She hit.
Yeah, we're
she
all
hit
gonna
the
move
boat.
on. We're all
She got
gonna move
grime on her
from that.
toes.
Mr. Rattlegast decided to go on a Batman-esque escapade of his own.
I don't know why you guys keep saying Batman. Okay.
It
I
very
didn't
much
even
was
ask
Batman,
where
but
the drugs
awesome.
were.
Where are they?
No, you just bought the drugs and decided you're going to use them for mild toxins.
No,
well,
I don't know what you're
I don't know
talking
that.
about.
Okay.
Also, I didn't buy any drugs. Fact.
Mason's like insight
I'm
check.
not gonna. As a human, I roll.
I will
insight,
bet
and I'm
money that I'm not lying.
You.
I will bet you money that I am not lying.
Anyway,
I just gave it away.
moving
You're telling
on.
the truth. I ain't doing shit.
Moving on.
Rattlegast discovered that the group of adventurers aren't actually adventurers; they're actors. They are.
Yeah, this is when I discovered.
I mean, you had your suspicions, but you forced a confession.
Indeed.
It isn't true till they're scared and tell me it's true.
But you forced a confession from from the old wizard and disappeared into the night. Thankfully, you were smart enough to not be seen. Your rooms and boards are being paid for by your employer, and the caravan has one more day in town before you all head out. So, while Rattlegast was doing that evening, was there anything the two of you wanted to do?
So I believe the last time I did stuff, I was working on the. Okay, yeah, I'm reading through my notes real quick. It's been a bit.
Yes.
So I was making the story about a grandmother spider that captures and feeds people. So, I'm going to continue working and perfecting my act with that. Right now, my plan is to use the unseen servant to carry the spider around.
Mm-hmm.
And just have it pull out have the spider on a string, so it could do all the it's glorious.
All right.
And so I'm going to continue to perfect my act.
Good.
I was in the process of working on whatever I could to further my hobby of blacksmithing and working on the cart to make it more battle ready.
Did we have you roll for that?
You did have me roll a check to
think-
see if I could figure out how I would use the swords in the creation of what I was planning on.
Right. Let me double check something. Yes. Okay. So you do have a couple of ideas. It's just a matter of you need the time.
And wasn't the other thing getting? You were trying to build a mobile forge, weren't you?
Yes, we were trying to get a mobile forge going so I could create things for us on the go.
And the thing was that you needed to find it and move it.
It was, and the other issue was that we don't have another wagon to transport it yet. We can easily find one to put into one if we can get the people to lift it and such, but we do need a transportation device.
Yes, you would need to acquire another wagon dedicated solely for that, and for that alone, it is not a small project. Even travel forges back in this particular day were fairly well to do. It's also a matter of getting the materials or the items themselves, but it can be done.
It was a joint project between Wolfenite and Serial, both of them deciding to fund it together so that we could assist each other.
Yes. So, excuse me. So that is what you plan to do for these. That is what you did for the evening, and so it is now the morning. Rattleghast, you have returned from your escapade, feeling vindicated.
Somewhat.
Thankfully, you didn't end up like the Vindicators, because that would be quite tragic. But, you were able to have your suspicions confirmed, and thankfully they're not evil. They're not out to really swindle anybody. They're just trying to get their way.
May I ask a question? Because where I was the night before.
Yes, you may.
As Rattleghast are you returning to the inn?
Yes. Well, I'm
I'm
returning
roof.
to wherever we were at. I don't remember. I thought we had our own lodging or something.
It is an inn. Your rooms are paid for by your employer.
Right.
Okay, I was on the roof the last time because of the whole stargazing bit. So would I actually see Rattleghast return?
I was sneaking.
In broad daylight?
So I think...
Yeah, you did
do you want us to roll for it?
him leaving, but never for him coming back.
Okay,
yeah,
so then let us have Rattleghast go ahead and roll a stealth check, and you two can,
So stealth, I'm not actively looking, so it'd just be my passive, right?
Yeah. Serial, you're probably in bed by now. It didn't take you super long.
Oh yeah, no,
Either
I
that
don't
or
see
we'd
you.
both
Okay.
just be sitting around and just relaxing.
I'm pretty quiet.
Yeah, that's your thing.
Yeah.
My passive's actually fairly high, so there was a pretty good chance, but,
Yeah.
just... Okay, so Celine doesn't see you. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
So,
Because I was going to roleplay, but...
You rather easily return to the... you didn't see him leave either.
Unseen.
No.
Yeah.
At night it was much harder, though.
This is also true. But, so, you return to your lodgings. Celine, are you still on the roof?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
This is going to be another night out late.
Yep. Thankfully, you return with plenty of time to get a long rest. And are you taking a point of exhaustion, Celine?
Usually you have me roll for it.
Right. Are you staying up all night is a better question.
Yes.
Alright, go ahead and roll a Constitution saving throw.
Alright. I'm assuming I have Fortune's favor on all this, because, well, that's going to be my new normal.
Fair enough.
18.
18 is enough. Also, let us make sure we correctly...
So I marked 1 on that.
Yes.
But there's nothing stopping me from recasting it.
Yes,
because it's just a ritual.
And it
doesn't even use a spell slot. Honestly, this thing needs nerfed into the ground.
It is Gift of Luck. Let us be...
No. Or Gift of Luck, I'm sorry. It's not Fortune Favor, yeah.
Yes. I would like us to be very clear with what spells are being used. Just because...
Could I have this only go on like once per day? Because this thing is really just stupidly powerful.
I use spells as written.
Alright.
How you want to use it is up to you.
Yeah, just...
I don't limit you, but the spell says what it says and it does what it does, so...
Alright.
Makes no ultimate difference to me. But you are able to stave off that exhaustion. This is a fairly common ritual for you to do, to stay up all night and do all the things.
It's about day 2 where you really start punishing me.
Yeah, well, you have to fight exhaustion a lot. It's all up to you.
One more level and it won't be an issue.
I am going to turn on a little bit of ambiance.
Ambiance.
Because why not?
So, hilariously, as Rattlegast returns, you may see a bunch of spiders hanging off the roof, like spider webs and like other things, as Celine's been knitting a bunch of
The
them
like
for her
puppets.
Yeah, little puppets. And
That's
of
awesome.
course, they have to stay on the roof, but she's like lost track of some of them. So while she has like the strings on something or underneath a book or like underneath her butt or whatever, the spider has, fallen down the roof and is just hanging there swinging.
Do I need to roll to see if I spot Celine?
No, she's not being stealthy at all.
Okay. Well,
She
Rattleghast.
is fairly obvious in everything
Oh
she
no,
does.
she's probably singing and humming and talking to the stars, even though they're mostly gone, and going, "Well, I don't know why you go away all the time. I just want to be friends. Why don't you just stay up there all the time?" Is that right, Saloon? And then just like this very tired hummingbird just going, "Oh God."
Yeah, Saloon's actually probably asleep, like nestled into your hair or clothes somewhere, and it's just sleeping,
Probably.
letting
Poor
you be
thing.
crazy.
I'm not crazy.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what most crazy people say. I'm not crazy. You're
I
crazy.
have like 1,000,000 stars backing me up in that. You're outvoted.
Billions upon billions upon billions.
They don't have votes.
They have plenty. At least according to Celine. But that's something a crazy person would say, right?
Pretty much. You catch on quick. So, yes, you do see Celine as she is on the roof.
Rattleghast is going to silently watch her for a while before retiring.
Yeah. Having a full conversation with the stars seems to legitimately be asking for them to answer questions, or is telling them about her days and her adventures.
I'll add one detail.
Go ahead.
As she's sewing up another spider, I don't remember how I got here, but I'm sure you had good reason for doing that. And I forgive you, stars.
And you would hear that before you toddle off. As the day comes and the day breaks, Celine, you have stayed up all night. Did you move from the roof at all?
No, she has been up there the entire night.
All right. Well, you have now drawn somewhat of a small crowd, all pointing and gawking at the crazy woman on the roof. And they're all just kind of.
Oh, I may perform a performance check to test out my new act now that I've got all these spiders hanging down and Later, let these guys do their thing.
I mean, go ahead. You're the
Are you
center of
performing?
attention right now.
I'm gonna perform.
As soon as you wake up? Or did you sleep at all?
Celine has not slept at all. This has been the routine with her. There's a lot of nights where she will not sleep. She'll just go the whole night talking to the stars.
Yeah, this is a thing.
I've suffered exhaustion a lot of times, but I seem to always pass my con check despite a 1. So yeah, okay, performance then.
Yep. Roll a performance check.
All right, fortune save or gift of luck or whatever.
It's gift of luck.
All right.
It matters.
I know. They're two separate spells. One has actually got balance in mind.
Brent is not bothered. Very obviously not bothered.
I don't want our
That's a
lovely
24 in
viewers
performance.
who play Chrono Mages to confuse the two spells. I really don't. Matt Mercer worked very hard on Fortune's Favor.
Yeah, Fortune's Favor is actually balanced. So this thing is, yeah. Anyway, so performance.
All right, so
is
thankfully you turn your insanity into theater, which is how most theater starts.
So what I'm gonna do for this story, I have the unseen servant pulling at the strings to keep the spiders just like constantly moving.
Mm-hmm.
So like constantly pulling at them as I take out the very god awful grandmother spider that I made as the first idea for this because I love that it's terrible. Because I think it makes it cute. Like one eye is just like completely bigger than the other. And it's got the full on like googly eye effect going.
Right.
And this grandmother spider now has like a miniature tea set that's been somewhat knitted. Somewhat, it's a work in process. And so it's offering these quote unquote adventurers, which Celine is using as sock puppets essentially. And the adventurers look a lot like Serial and Radagath.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so these adventurers are trapped in the web, and I'm playing up the whole dramatic thing of them being stuck using maybe like minor illusion for a sound. Is that how that works?
Yes,
If
you
not
can
prestidigitation.
you can create a sound with minor illusion.
Using that to create music, so there's like a full-on like musical act going on.
Nice.
So I have a question with all this.
Yes.
How much was Acrony trying to sell tickets for?
Well, he sleeps fairly late, all things considered. In fact, you have actually started the caravan moving while he's been asleep in the carriage. So,
I mean, if he doesn't have to get up.
yeah.
Fair enough. I'm just picturing Acrony missing out on an opportunity to get money.
Oh my god, he is so missing out on this. Because Celine isn't charging anything. She's
He's
not
gonna
even...
be furious.
Acrony might be missing out, but there are those who are not.
Oh, help me. I'm just an old man. You're doing rattle cat.
Do I get? Am I outside? Did I wake up by this time?
That would be up to the two of you, honestly.
I
where
would have gotten
you
up
be in
pretty
the morning?
early.
Let's be honest. I with my race, I don't need it. I don't get a whole lot of sleep. I don't need it.
This is true. So where would you want to be?
I would be by the caravan, setting up and watching this from a bit of a distance.
Yeah, you would see this if you're outside with the caravan, re-going over your idea and your
Please,
plan.
Granny Spider, don't hurt me. And then Serial, back, vile beast. I do not know why you want to hurt my friends. Oh, dear adventurers. I just want to bring you to dinner. And then she, like, serves tea. The scones are really nice.
I would be watching
there's, like,
very,
8 scones
very
for each hand.
attentively.
All right, fair. I'm gonna move this camera because I don't like that angle, but I like that one a little less. But at least now, when I look at you guys, it's not going to be as awkward. Just because my main monitor shakes a lot. One of these days, I will have the perfect setup. And one of these days, it will all work as I intend.
And one of these days, you won't think of yourself as the crazy maniacal genius that you believe yourself to be.
Let's not be crazy now. You know, let's keep grounded in reality.
By the stars
Yeah,
above,
D&D.
I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, that may be true. I think the boat's already sailed for at least one of your party.
I'm actually gonna look over the crowd and see if there's anybody there, like, that's not, like, watching it genuinely. Anyone there that's, like, mocking the performance or anything?
Oh, there's probably a fair few
no,
of this.
believe it or not. Sorry, now that I fixed my monitor. There's no one quite mocking the performance per se, but you definitely see one guy is actually like going around with a hat and like soliciting coin. And he's making a fair pretty penny as this performance goes on. You see one or two. Roll me a perception check.
Perception.
By the way, yes, this is a Has-Been Hotel shirt, and it is amazing. You do see one or two street urchins like walking through the crowd, lifting whatever they can.
See, I'm good for the whole economy.
The one person that stands out to you, though, well, actually, it's two. One is one of those cloaked and robed figures that travel with this caravan, and he's watching intently. He seems to be the most absorbed, but he's not watching the performance. He's watching Celine. The fact that Celine happens to be the performer is incidental.
I noticed any distinguishing facts about him that would like separate him from other members of his party?
If he is any more nondescript, you would forget he existed. He is going for as nondescript, as non-threatening, as non-interesting in his appearance as he possibly can. The only reason you know he's even a part of your caravan is simply because you've been traveling for at least 2 10-day. Or at least a 10-day and a half with this particular group. And so, yeah. No, 2 10-day. So, you've been traveling with him and his party for a while. So that is why you recognize him. As you continue to watch this, the other one who draws your attention is a dwarf. He is wearing a just set of standard chainmail, but on his shield, on his back, you do notice the same symbol of the Order of the Gauntlet. I believe that's what it was called. You have seen this symbol before. It is not a uncommon symbol. Yeah, Order of the Gauntlet.
Where was it that I saw that before?
You've seen it on a couple of people, a couple of paladins, even 1 or 2 clerics, you know. But they are mostly paladins or people dedicated to a specific type of order. They are the paladin equivalent of the Harpers. Mostly they are mostly paladins or clerics of Torm, who is a deity of justice and peace and law and order, things of that nature. Some people wear their symbols a little more obviously than others. This one definitely appears to be a little obvious in his bedecking. But he soon wanders off, just like kind of smiling to himself. He's definitely a paladin. Just is the most out of place person in the bunch.
Cereal. I thank you, fine spider lady. I do not think that I would ever hurt anybody ever again because we are friends now. High fives. 8 of them. All around. Yes, thank you very much.
At which point Serial just looks down at the sword on his hip, back up at the puppets, back at the sword, back up at the puppets, and then just...
Are you for real, lady?
We can all dream. Your companions, Marina, Wolfenite, and Fear, seem to be a little late today. They do go off and do their own thing eventually. but they do know that you are in town another day, and you have the rest of today to decide what you would like to do. So, Celine, your performance gets done. Some people clap, some people just laugh and walk away.
She'll wave, bow, be the usual, hostess. And then the puppets on both of her hands will also bow with her. So when she bows, she's moving her wrists to bow, to make them bow.
Mm-hmm.
The little hand puppets, and she's just grinning as she's cleaning up this ginormous mess of yarn and silk and whatever it took to stitch all this. Which I probably need to buy more materials now.
You most definitely.
Yeah, whatever that costs, and then I'll have her. I do want her to do the inspiring leader thing for the party and the now Fortune's favor for the party. However, you do know the cost for that.
Gift.
So I do want that to play a factor because a ritual spell is still costing her that. So there's some cost here.
Well, there is the material component for the gift of luck doesn't cost you anything.
No, because you can still use your arcane or your holy symbol.
So that's easily done. It just requires 10 minutes and one of the two individuals in question. You do see both Serial and Radagast down there as the crowd now disperses.
Oh, she just smiles and the puppets go, well, I don't think I acted quite right. Yeah, Celine, work on that, says Serial. And she giggles and she's having the time of her life up there. She's just clearly the performer who's happy to perform. As she starts packing everything up, and her stomach just growls after being up there all night.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
10. This one I'm not going to use Fortune on. I don't think she'd actively know this. So where is it?
So
God, I'm rolling high today, though.
Okay. So you're able to if the two of you will stand still, you can get a gift of luck for the day.
Gift of luck, and I'll consider the performance the inspiring act.
Is this something that Celine's just casting, or is she
it's
walking up to each of us? Or
it's a ritual that she has to take 10 minutes to cast.
Yeah, let me see if it's touch. I think it is.
It is.
So let's assume that, as she greets you guys throughout the day and stuff, there's some kind of physical touching if you let her.
Well, let's be honest, it's going to be all the usual hugs and such that we've come to expect.
Oh, exactly. It's totally hugs.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
so you have the benefits of the Gift of Luck, and you have 9 temporary hit points from Inspiring Leader.
Correct.
Yep. Support.
So, Gift of Luck allows you 3 rerolls for the day. You can choose it on any 3 rolls. And then once you've done all 3 rolls, then the spell ends.
And it lasts for 24 hours, so...
Yep. So it lasts all day. But you're able to go about your business for the day. So, Serial, we'll start with you, since you actually had things you wanted to get done.
And see.
It would be a day spent looking for the materials to build the forge and possibly find a wagon.
Roll me an investigation check. So the wagon is the easiest part to find. A spare wagon is fairly commonplace. and you're able to find one. You could if you wanted,
I'm just reminding people that I'm giving the buff.
and it's Gift of Luck.
Oh, god damn it. I'll eventually remember the actual name of the spell.
And that actually is a good point because I actually entirely forgot about that already.
Yeah, that's the reason supports have to remind people that they're supporting sometimes in D&D.
Yeah, that's a change.
So
Yeah, that's a huge change.
the wagon is still the easiest thing to find. You can actually find a wagon. The problem you are going to have is it is a tad expensive. I don't know how much gold you actually have on you, just because I'm not looking at your sheet right at this moment.
The question is, what is the price? Because I currently have 571 gold on me.
Serial's been the one
then
holding our
never-
money.
And never fucking mind, it's 100 gold pieces. 100 gold pieces for the wagon. Now, for the horse, you would have to pay 50 gold.
Okay, so I'll be getting a horse and a wagon then for 150.
Alrighty. Horse and wagon you have. Now, a new problem you run into is logistical. Yes, your party members could drive the wagon. You could drive the wagon. The only problem is that you're engaged as a bodyguard. So it would be the intelligent choice to either go hire someone to be the wagon driver or to, do something. Pretty much, you're going to want to hire somebody to.
Bring the
My
wagon
plan
with
is
us.
to get a wagon. Can't remember what it's called. It's one of the bars that you place in front. You can place in front of the horses to basically string them together.
Yeah, that you got the kit. The wagon
Yeah,
came
so
with that.
I'm basically gonna set it up so we can have the horse will be led on the next to the wagon, directly by it.
Okay.
So it'll be kind of towed by our current wagon.
Yes.
Okay. You do know that there are places where you can go to hire people who are looking for work.
Yeah, I actually do have enough money at the moment. It wouldn't be a bad idea to get someone. So let's look for a little bit to see if I can find someone worth bringing with us.
With that investigation check, you go to one of the taverns in town, of which there are two, but one is just a bar slash, restaurant. It does serve food, but has no rooms for rent. In here, you quickly find a bartender, and he kind of points you to a section of the bar where a bunch of people are seemingly sitting, and he says, any of them are looking for work, honest pay for honest work. Gruff, grizzled human bartender, nothing super special. But just, make sure it's on the up and up. These are good, simple folk. And he is right. All of them are human. There's a woman. She's the only woman, but she's also in her 40s or 50s. Looks to be kind of world traveled, weather beaten. Life has not been kind to her, and she has not been kind to it. She has given as good as she's gotten. There is also the one that sticks out to you, though, is a dwarf wearing chainmail, who is bearing the order of the Gauntlet sigil on his shield. And he seems to be the most capable of this particular group.
Well, we know who we're approaching then.
Alright, so as you approach him, he's sitting there and he's... He is at a table littered with tankards. In fact, there's no clean tabletop left. It is literally a table full of tankards. There's not a there, you can't see the table anymore.
Is he the only one at the table?
Oh yeah. And as he sets his drink down, and he kind of slams it. Oi! What can I do for you, lad? He's gonna take a quick second.
Yep. Quick aside.
While he does so, oh,
Sorry about that.
No worries.
As I sit next to the dwarf, I'll look at him and I'll say, "Well, if you'll humor me for a little bit, I'll buy your next tankard. Got a question for you of work."
all right. Buy that tankard first, and then you can talk.
I'll wave over to the bartender, holding up 2 fingers for 2 tankards.
Quickly brought to you. You see he smiles and nods his head, and now he has to actually stack them on top of each other because he's filled the table that much. God damn it. One of these days I will get a new chair.
What were we being paid by Acrony again?
You were being paid 10 gold per 10 day. So gold a day. But you were also bodyguards, and that is the highest form of employment that was available. You are well-paid adventurers.
So as I sit with him after taking a few swigs out of the tankard, I'll look over to him and I say, "I'm looking for someone that can drive a wagon for me and help me out on the road."
Oh, help you out on the road, huh? Did I have to do any fighting? You
Only if you want to.
You do notice he is carrying javelins and a warhammer. You also notice that while he is brandishing the member of the Order of the Gauntlet sigil on his shield, around his neck is a medallion of a very different kind. And you could roll me a knowledge religion check if you would like to try and guess it. So, a 10 is just not going to be that good, unfortunately. What you do, you don't know the deity per se. But this guy actually is wearing a couple of different holy symbols. You know right away the easiest one to always pick out is Moradin. He is the main dwarven deity. And he... Oh.
Uh-oh.
We
You
lost
said
the
as
mission!
Discord may have frozen.
Yep.
He's back.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No worries.
By the stars above, welcome back. Sorry, David's just like, I love this.
The best. Never apologize.
But you do see Moradin, who is the dwarvish god, believed to be the creator of dwarves. The one that they always worship. It's just the way that works. Yeah, Moradin the Soul Forger. Everyone kind of knows that one. Give me 1 second.
MISSISSSIPI. 1.
PPI.
Anyway, the other one is unknown to you, but what you do notice and what you do see is a set of, let me make sure I have this correctly. You see 3 lightning bolts coming from a central point on a medallion on his neck. On his chest, he wears the symbol of Moradin. But these 3 lightning bolts radiating from the central point are interesting. But he nods to you. So, some fighting, some driving a cart. Anything else?
Say it won't be dangerous. We do eventually plan on fighting some large fire-breathing lizards.
Dragons?
Eventually, yes.
Well, thankfully, I do not have a zealotry for dragons. Though, they need to die. Lots of things need to die. But they're not the true enemy. They're only heralds of the enemy that's out there. Well, he says all of a sudden, his voice getting a little louder in octaves. Or not octaves, volume, excuse me. Octaves is never something different. Well, you got yourself a dwarf! The name's Vonram! Roll an insight check there, Serial. In dwarf culture, as well as orc culture, it's one of the things that they share, despite the fact that they would never agree that they share that. They value clans and groups more than the individual. This man introduced himself by only his name and has not spoken a clan name. That's not usual.
I'll elect not to ask him about it at the current moment. Something we may find out later on our adventure. But for now, you said Von Raus?
Vonram!
Vonra. Welcome to the party, Vonra. We will be setting out soon enough. This is the location of our inn, of course, given where we're staying and everything.
Ah, that place! Oh, you're with that caravan that came into town!
Aye, we are.
Did you see that right crazy lady on the top of the inn performing?
That would be our friend Celine. She travels with us.
Oh, she's traveling with you?
One of the characters she was performing with was supposed to be a version of me, I presume.
That's great fun.
She does bring plenty of smiles to the group.
And she's not half bad looking.
Well, I leave you and her to your own devices there.
Oh,
as
no.
long as you travel with us.
Duty first. I am, unfortunately, a man of the cloth. And you realize he's got crumbs on his shirt that he just now noticed. But very well. We set off when?
I believe we're staying one more night and then we set off tomorrow.
Good. I will be there before you wake. In the meantime, boom! Duty above all. And he stands up, picks up his shield, and lifts his warhammer, and then heads out the door. As he does, he sings in Dwarvish, He's starting to sing in Dwarvish. Do you happen to speak Dwarvish?
I do not. I speak Giant, which might be a bit closer, but
They have the same written language, but not the same spoken. So, to you, you hear Kazrodum Ketorium Himocom Seo. And he's like belting this tune. You are a soldier, though, and you do know a marching cadence when you hear one. You imagine it only really works because it's in Dwarvish? You imagine if it was translated to Common, it may not work. But you now have a new driver. And someone who looks like he will fight for you. If needed.
before I leave, I'm going to ask the bartender if any unpaid bills of his, and mine, of course.
That'll be 2 gold for that whole table.
And I'll hand over the 2 gold.
I don't know much more about him. He's an odd one.
Well, if you were to meet the rest of our group, you would understand odd is within our relative terms.
I can tell you this, though. From what I've seen of him, he's not a bad sort. A little boisterous, but he's a dwarf.
I would say don't bring race into this, but every dwarf I've met has matched that stereotype.
It's not really a stereotype if they all are like that. And with that, he just kind of walks away.
Racist ass bartender.
I mean,
He didn't
all
say
those are
anything
nice.
bad. He just said he was boisterous.
Stereotype. If they're
Oh,
all
man.
like that.
Again,
Not
that's
Saying
not a
all
negative.
elves are knife ears,
Mhm.
so I have to agree with the sentiment. I fucking hate elves.
They are. Goddamn knife ears.
As I say,
Wow.
as I flick my ears, or my hair over my...
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
What would you like to do?
Mm,
No worries.
I don't know. I'm gonna pass until Celine.
Okay. Celine.
So Celine, now probably having finished up cleaning up her mess with help from my my unseen servant and Seth, which I'm going to give a cloak to now that I actually don't need them to be invisible and probably need them not to run into things.
Okay.
So I'm being followed by a mysterious stranger now. Except, clearly nobody else is there.
Right.
Saloon is basically like kind of looking around, looking at everybody, and Rattlegas, you were in the crowd, right?
Mm-hmm. I stayed
Okay.
until after the.
After the performance.
That's when I said hi to you in the morning.
Okay. So she gets off the roof, and Saloon looks at you with just this mild annoyance, and Celine looks up and looks at you. Looks up, looks at you again, and she fidgets for a moment.
You do still remember him. Your memory.
Oh gosh, yes.
Your memory isn't clear. You do remember him as Green Man.
What? Yeah.
Grandfather
what was-
Green Willow.
Yes.
Yep.
There we go.
Willow, she says, and kind of freezes up. Grandfather? She's really
Excellent.
searching her thoughts for a moment, and she flips open her book. Rattlegas. She says, I've been up all
Excellent
night.
performance. Well done. Well done.
Oh,
Have you been practicing?
all night. I was telling Saloon a bedtime story and he fell asleep. Saloon looks a little embarrassed to have left his post guarding her. but he could not handle her rattling off for God knows how long.
About 9-10
It
hours.
shows. The
The
practice
answer is yes.
shows. It's obvious.
It's the only thing I'm good at.
Oh,
and
untrue.
I'm awesome with names, but and she kind of like straightens up, and Saloon gives you this like little bristle. He just looks so angry at you lately, and you're not sure why. It's probably the time you came in and talked to him before, and Celine just looks up and it's like, and you see her eyes widen with recognition, and she leans in and she whispers, "He's really mad because you're not bowing to him. He is nobility after all."
Nobility? The bird?
Yeah, she nods. Her face is dead serious. There is not a single flinch. She totally believes this, whatever it is.
Julia. But I am no fealty of his. Should another empire bow to another?
Generally, yes. If you ask him. But Saloon is... And she looks back at him. He's really fuzzy.
I look at Saloon and say, have I mistaken you, friend? Was I unaware that you were the king of kings? My mistake, good sir. And then I do like an extremely elaborate bow.
He looks utterly...
I need Saloon to roll an insight check, and I need you to either roll, I don't know what you roll for fucking sarcasm, so roll performance, deception, or persuasion, your choice. Just fucking roll one.
So 16 is 16 for Celine.
Saloon.
Oh, is it for Saloon?
Yes, it is for Saloon.
So same roll -5, so 11.
Okay.
I'll do performance.
Wait, no, maybe minus more. I don't know actually what. Hold on. I gotta actually look if he has a negative in that.
By the way, I didn't say this, but when I got inside last night, I took off the disguise and stuff.
Yeah. I figured.
Nice.
It's a minus
so it's
4.
it's a 12 for Celine.
Okay. So performance, persuasion, or deception.
Oh yeah.
So.
I mean, I'm just
So Celine buys this, right?
Oh yeah, Saloon buys this.
There is this
Snake oil.
pleased, smug look on this hummingbird's face. If a hummingbird could look annoyingly smug, that is what you're getting. And there's merely an approving nod, like a king would with like a peasant that just, said, "Good luck, my lord." That is how dismissive the nod is. And Saloon is now completely ignoring you and just looking at Celine.
excellent.
You see, there's a farm, and Saloon just bought the whole thing.
Exactly.
Yup. He traded.
He
his
is
cow for
fallen
some
hard.
magic beans.
He is very approving of Rattlegas now. The relationship has gone from like -10 out of 100 to about probably +50, 60.
My dear, have you missed your morning meal by chance?
Oh. And she looks down at her stomach as if to confirm that she's hungry, but she clearly is starving. You just get a, yeah. Oh my god, food's do they have pancakes? She starts rambling about it.
I haven't the slightest clue what they might have here. Let's go find out, why don't we?
Yeah, come on,
Cereal,
grandfather.
would you
And
like
she
to
claps
acquire
her
some-
hands around yours as she's going.
Would you like to acquire some breakfast?
Victuals would be very much appreciated this morning.
Roll for breakfast?
Roll for breakfast.
Roll that sausage.
I mean, you got the re-roll with advantage, or you got the advantage to roll for breakfast.
Roll for breakfast. Fucking greatest way to phrase that ever. Yeah, roll for breakfast.
So
Wait, does that
assume
mean to flip
perception.
the pancake properly, it would be a sleight of hand check?
Ooh, I can do that.
Just fucking, you're all out of line.
Perception.
Oh my god, at that 20 on
I
perception.
find the best breakfast place on the continent.
Well, certainly in this town.
Yep.
So yes,
This is why we're here, everyone. To make you laugh.
you find somewhere for breakfast,
And they have pancakes.
yes, they have fucking.
Things that
Grandfather
matters,
Green
like-
Willow, nailing it.
Yeah, you are
guys are
nailing
making me
it.
crave pancakes now. God damn it!
Okay, that actually sounds pretty good. I mean, waffles are better, but
Oh, Celine is craving pancakes for all the fresh fruit and topping because they look so pretty. And she is the happiest you've probably ever seen her, diving into these things, mouth like covered in it. Saloon just merely gives you the most approving slight bow that you could ever see a hummingbird do. It's disdainful, but there is actual respect there.
You're all so interesting. I can't phrase that any other way.
I'm sure that's the word you wanted to use. I'm sure of it.
I mean, it's the best word I got. Fucking.
There probably is.
Yes, there is. They're just not called that.
So, grandfather, what do you think of you? And she reaches down in her bag and pulls out the sock puppet of you. Well, I can. And she just kind of keeps eating and like.
Good, yes, the voice was spot on.
I think it was like the best. And she just starts chugging milk. The best thing that I've ever made since the dawn of yesterday. And she says that as a compliment, and she's fully smiling and happy. And Serial, what do you think of you? You got 8 high fives. That's like a high five times 8.
Hey, Serial, answer.
By the way, Cyril, my eyes are piercing into you with like the most sadistic smile right now. Rattlegas.
No one can hear you, brother.
Cereal will be stuffing a large piece of pancake into his mouth as he answers, and he'll get.
I know, right? And so he just goes into another one.
And at this point, Cereal would glare back at Rattlegas.
Saloon has taken the time to like start like slurping up the leftover syrup that's like hanging off people's plates.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Who the hell
for a
needs
moment
beach
there,
episode? We get a breakfast episode.
and then for a moment there, he realizes that that's like an awfully peasant thing to do, and demands his own container of syrup, at least according to Selene.
Easily done. No one's gonna argue with you.
Yeah, just Saloon now sipping out of an
Just
entire
stare
container of
at
syrup.
you like you're fucking crazy, but no one argues. And they fetch it and bring it to you.
Yeah. Celine is just happy as can be, but you can now see the fatigue starting to set in now that she's actually eaten something. And you notice that the fork kind of lazily hanging as she tries her best to pay attention to the rest of the conversation.
Only a
When we-
Constitution saving throw.
Sure. Hold on, I gotta switch off Saloon.
When we go to leave, I'm probably going to be carrying her out to make sure she doesn't hit the ground too hard.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
that's exactly what's gonna happen because as the fork goes down, she manages to pull it off the plate right before her head hits it.
Yeah,
And she is asleep.
She is snoring quite loudly, and it actually plays down the cuteness factor a little bit of how loud she is, how loud she's snoring.
Yeah, it's not quiet.
Cool. I'll be carrying her out, and in the meantime, I'm now contemplating how to make a metal syrup holder in the shape of Saloon.
Oh God! Everybody appeasing a hummingbird is hilarious.
Praise be the
So
hummingbird.
Indeed. Glory to the Lord on high.
I mean, he is the thing that's letting me do Cure
Rune.
Rune.
Oh, Jesus. So
do we carry her out together, or
no, Serial's
Are you
actually strong enough to carry her
Oh,
by
okay.
himself.
But you can help if you want.
This is
If
true.
you'd like to, otherwise
I would help if Cyril was struggling.
How much does she weigh?
Oh, nothing. Celine's got a low strength, though she is wearing armor, which does add to that a little bit.
So you can carry your strength modifier times 15. You are in town, so at most you have just your sword, your shield, your gold pouch, and your armor. You're not wearing all of your adventuring kit because you left that back in your room at the inn. You didn't need
And
to
lift, drag, or carry, isn't that 30%?
Uh,
That's just your, yeah, it is 30% for lift, drag, or carry.
yeah.
Or a lift, drag, or, yeah,
Push.
no, it is lift, drag, or carry. It's just meaning you're, before you're overwhelmed.
Yeah, so even if Celine, excuse me, even if Celine is carrying all her gear, she's maybe $125.
Yeah, I
With
can
all
easily
her
carry
stuff.
Yeah, so your strength is 19, so 19 times 15. Yeah, you can carry 285 pounds.
I
Celine does not weigh. She does not weigh nearly 200 pounds by herself, just as character weight, I don't think.
No, she's not heavy. She's quite small and slight.
Yeah, so yeah.
I don't actually have that, but I will add that because she's not very big.
Yeah, so
This one
you
I'm
can
just
carry
picturing
her
like,
and her
curling
gear
up
just
in
fine.
in my arms, like baby style, being carried.
You do manage to return to the inn just fine and manage to tuck her in. Nobody really bothers you. Some people give you odd looks. Nothing really beyond that.
As Celine is being carried out in her sleepy state. Everyone's the best of friends. Strawberry pancake. Saloon, I love you. Just little things like that as she is completely out. Whatever she is dreaming of, though, she does make a mention of Brent, do me a solid here.
Yes. Hold on. I have to check Discord using my phone.
In the meantime, while I'm tucking her in, I'm going to be humming a tune. She just wants to see you smile, smile, smile.
So, Saloon.
All right.
You have. Well, Celine, excuse me.
Celine. I know, Saloon's just as much as the main character.
Yeah. No, not at all. You're not quite sure the stories you were telling to the stars last night. You're also not quite sure that you talked to them at all last night. In fact, you don't even remember last night. You remember sitting there on the roof, and then you remember performing. But there's nothing between those two times.
Within the sleep, Celine is kind of regurgitating those moments that she can't actively remember.
So you actually hear in Celine's garbled speech, a whole conversation that she was having, or rather the abbreviated version of it. The bits, the pieces, the highlights, things that would really stick in her subconscious. And then, as you guys near the inn where you're staying, that rambling kind of drops off with the day began with.
Interesting. Breakfast with the story.
Yep. The stuff you heard was her mostly trying to forgive the stars for being so mean to her. There was an anger somewhere in that garbledness. A true anger at her own situation. But for what you can't say. She's not angry about adventuring, clearly. She's angry about something she keeps losing. And with that, she, it all disappears.
As you return, Acrony is up for the day, and he smiles and looks at you. Ah, good. You're all awake. So, we're heading off tomorrow, and then he looks. Did we get another cart?
I bought a cart for my own purposes in the meantime, using my own funds at Mr. Acrony.
Oh. Well, okay. Yeah, I kind of felt bad with y'all walking, but, we were slow anyway, so it's not like you were holding up the caravan. Ah! He claps you on the shoulder. What happened to her?
She slept. She's trying to get some very good sleep for once.
You know how it is after a good meal. A nap is the perfect dessert, no?
He just smiles and nods and then claps you like really hard on the shoulder and like shakes you.
I'm
yes!
gentle. I'm fragile. Careful.
Oh, sorry.
So Acrony's loud yelling causes Celine to kind of sleepily wake up and go, I'm trying to sleep.
He nods and
She
he
kind
looks
of
at you.
slowly closes her eyes again and then goes, I love you all.
You don't recognize this guy's face, Celine.
Acrony's?
Uh-huh.
Shit. Okay, that was bad. That's real bad.
You do know that you're hired and you're traveling with these guys. You just don't recognize this guy's face. The voice you recognize. You even have a name to go with the voice. You just don't know that the face belongs
So I'm
to either.
able to put the two and two together, but
Eventually
still have
you're
an
able
issue.
to put the two together, but
Oh my god. That's not good. That's not good.
in your half-groggy state, you can't do any of that.
Yeah. Good thing she's mostly out anyway.
Mm-hmm. But so, you're able to take Celine to her room and tuck her in. Rattleghast, while Serial is doing that, because he doesn't need your help, is there anything else you wanted to do today?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna kind of hang out around the caravan.
As you hang out around the caravan, you do notice something odd. As it gets later in the afternoon, you see a dwarf, a familiar dwarf, come walking up to the caravan. He looks at your guys' carts, and then he jumps in one of them and just lays down, puts his shield over his body, and just...
I'm gonna, tug on the spot that would be his pinky toe on his shoe. Excuse me.
And he wakes up and he's got the shield up like he's gonna swing with it. Oh, man. Don't you know it's bad manners to wake a man when he's sleeping?
Don't you know it's bad manners to sleep on someone else's property?
I'm driving this here rig.
I'm a part of the party that owns it.
Oh, it's good to meet you. The name's Von Ram. And he extends his hand, and then he looks, and the shield's still there. Oh, and he switches hands and holds his hand up. I'm Von Ram. I was hired by the Knife Ear.
I'm sure I hear all of this.
Oh, you do hear Von Ram, and you do hear him call you a Knife Ear, but, that's not unusual.
I like this dwarf already.
At this point, I'll be going outside to make introductions.
I stick out my hand. My mistake, Wazak. Good to meet you.
It's Von Ram, not Wazak. Although I might have a cousin named Wazak.
Wazak isn't a name. It's just a term of endearment. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Ah! And he shakes your hand like, vigorously. Mm-hmm. And then he sees you, Serial. Ah! Hello!
Serial, did you hire this dwarf?
Yes, I was waiting until we all were able to get together to make introductions. This is Von Ram. He'll be driving my cart for us. He may be a little short and can't see too far over the counter, but at least my knife ears can hear better than his.
Hey, but that's the point. That's why you have them. I have these, and he holds up his fists, which are meaty. He's definitely someone who works with his hands.
Rattlegas says, "Me too," and he holds up his hand, shaking.
Awesome. Roll a charisma check. Just straight charisma.
Straight charisma.
Yes, please.
Oh my gosh! I need to put. Ah!
Oh, it's like you. Hold on. I have to remind people because.
Oh yes. Thank you.
Thank
I
God.
will use one.
I need to always do that. Okay. This was meant to be.
It was destiny. I can't fight destiny.
You hold up your fists.
For the chat, 2 nat ones.
Yes, 2 nat ones. I can't believe that shit. That's great. So you hold up your fists, but you go and you tuck your thumbs in under your fingers, and your shaking is a little more than it needed to be, and he just kind of smiles. Ah! And then he reaches over, pulls your thumb out of your fist and closes it properly, and he pats you on the shoulder. You're gonna do right fine on the road. And then he kind of looks at you, Serial, and just...
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm quite the scrapper, you see. Yes. I can hold my own.
Oh, hey! I'm sure you can, Grandad. So, we'll be setting off in the morning, and I'll be sleeping here until then. Aye? Looks to you, Serial.
You can sleep there if you wish, or you can get a room. Either one works for me. It'll be on my dime if you do, though.
Ah! Rooms. I don't mind camping out. Besides, I only need a sturdy surface to lay my back on and my shield, which he, again, puts his shield over him, and it covers most of him. Just his boots are, left.
Well, as long as you're comfortable that way.
Hey! I'm not like some namby-pamby can't sleep in their armor.
As wearing full armor because always for bodyguard.
But there are people who don't sleep in their armor.
Fair enough.
Your soldier background makes that a commonplace for you, but for most people, it's not. But
would go to Serial's head as, I'm not sure if he's trying to offend me or not. Let's admit it. So far, most of the interactions have been accidental. Well, I can't really say accidental, but stereotypical things that we're all expecting.
Yep. But with that, he just nods. All right, good day. And he lays back down and covers himself with the shield.
Well, quite the character, isn't he?
Yes. That's certainly one way to put it. Was always so rambunctious.
Wow, racist yourself there.
He's an old man, and it's totally
Yeah,
justified.
it's kind of part of the role.
Well,
My RL knife ear comments are definitely not justified, though, for the chat. No, I'm good. I'm fine.
so, as you guys go on to the evening hour, again, your meals are covered here by Acrony as part of your contract. So you're not spending your wages eating. Your drink is on your own, though. He does make mention of that. He buys you one ale or wine for dinner, but then anything beyond that is up to you. So, as you guys wind down for the evening, Celine, you're out.
Yeah.
Is there anything
The
else?
the only small thing I'd like to do is that Saloon is now following Rattlegast.
You now have a hummingbird following you, old man orc.
Cool.
Is there anything the two of you would like to do, Serial and Rattlegast?
I'm going to start making out blueprints for that syrup container I plan on making now. The hummingbird
roll a
syrup
Smith's
container.
tools check, querying intelligence. Okay. You do manage to get a pretty a rough sketch going. You do manage to kind of work it out, depending on how large you'd want it to be. You've got a couple different sizes sketched out, but easily done.
My night tonight is for shenaniganry.
Oh, what chicanery are you up to?
I'm making a goddamn syrup container. Praise the hummingbird.
Okay. You can find You can probably find a forge who would let you work with some metal. It would cost you 3 silvers worth of metal material. And go ahead and roll me a Smith's tools check, querying whatever, querying strength actually, because now you're actually making the tool. Yeah, easy enough. So by a couple hours later, you now have a syrup container that looks like a tiny hummingbird.
I now have an amazing gift for Celine in the morning.
Can actually fit about a cup of syrup. 8 fluid ounces.
And I'm going to spend most of my evening singing a ballad to Saloon. The only ballad that I know.
Which is?
The one that I know.
All right.
You know which one I know. It's in my character sheet.
That's true. Go ahead and roll performance.
Oh, nice.
16, not bad. Is it in your character sheet?
It's on the main page.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, you sing this little ditty to
A hummingbird.
yes.
Yep.
Praise be the King of Kings.
Something like that.
And I do
There is
another.
a certain, well, because I don't know the ballad, for roleplay purposes here.
Correct.
It's kind of like a tragic comedy, if that makes sense.
The way Saloon looks at this is he's flattered that a mere peasant is singing for him.
But you guys
Enjoying it. It's a nice peasant song.
And I do another extremely deep bow at the end of it.
Nice.
He looks 100% flattered, and you can just see the feathers self-preening is the amount of pomp this thing has.
It's awesome.
Alrighty. So, with that, the next day comes, and you guys all wake up. Celine, you are very well rested. Slept a little harder than you would like. But as you all hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. Indeed. You guys managed to start your day of travel. So who would like to roll me a D20?
I'll do it.
Nice.
Ooh.
Oh, one tiny thing. I did say I have to buy stuff. Would we assume that was done, or
Yeah, you could have done that.
what would that have costed me for just more? All of the supplies refilled. Whatever.
All the supplies refilled. 7 gold.
All right, done. All right, there we go. Sorry about that.
No, so you guys start your travel. As you're traveling along, you are passing these moors, and you're traveling towards the Trollbark Forest. And as you do, Serial, your dwarf, looks to you. Hey, gotta be careful on them moors. There's lots of stories that go around about people disappearing and never coming back. Rumor has it. Now this is just rumor. People being crazy. And he kind of glances at Celine.
Celine looks back down, and her eyes are just like wide as saucers as she's writing down every word he's saying. Stories, you say?
Oi, there's stories about these creatures, or they're not really creatures. Well, they're kind of creatures. They're these giant mushrooms. They grow so fast on the rain-soaked ground that they can get bigger than a person.
As big as a person, you say?
Oh, aye!
This,
But you gotta be careful. They release these massive toxic spores. You breathe them in and you could die. Or at the very least, you have nightmares for a couple of days. It's not really so bad for you, pointy ears, because you do that weird thing. And he literally, makes a face and wiggles his fingers.
that is pretty weird, Celine says, leaning over the cart and looking at Serial kind of accusingly.
Serial, you do know that while most of the races are aware that elves don't sleep like normal people, nobody really knows that you trance. Nobody but another elf really understands the journey that trancing is.
Cyril just be sighing and shaking his head as he holds up the syrup container to her. I made you a gift, crazy little one.
She kind of looks confused for a second, and then she reaches down, and both of her hands are on it, and her eyes grow as wide as saucers for me.
Hi.
But nobody ever gives me things. And she kind of looks a little confused for a second, not knowing what to do with this, whether to accept it or not. She looks back down at you. Well, Thank you.
Of course, you've gifted me many smiles since I've gotten to know you.
Oh my god, so the syrup comes out of the beak? It's so adorable! And she just, like, kind of hugs it really, really close to her chest for a moment. And she's pretty choked up. She actually doesn't have words. And Saloon, like, seemingly trying to break the tension, ends up just doing that thing where he just, like, rams into the side of her head. And she's like, ow! God, Saloon, stop! And he does it one more time, but much lighter. And she gets kind of the impression, and she goes, and she gives you a slight bow. Thank you, Serial. I'll have to work on your voice.
I'll be nodding and then keeping my attention to the road, looking out for any dangerously large mushroom.
You don't see any, and the weather's fairly, fairly bright and fairly warm. Though it is starting to get a little chillier as you're going further and further north. As you camp that evening, unless anyone had anything else they wanted to do during the day.
Nope, I'm good.
As you camp that evening, you notice that there's some commotion among the cultists' wagons, which Rattlegast and Serial you do know and are keeping a tab on them. There seems to be some discrepancy, and they seem to be having some arguments amongst themselves. But it quickly settles back down, and they just settle in for the night.
Was there anything that I could hear from it that might have been...
Not anything you could hear. It was mostly just some shoving and some gesturing, and they seem to be gesturing at one of the wagons. So, as you guys continue on for the next day, I would like someone else to roll me a d20.
I got it. Ciao.
So, the weather today is a little cloudy. Still, for the most part, clear and nothing to really be concerned about. Pardon. This day and the next are like that. Not much, just some downtime as you're traveling. Is there anything you would like to do? Ow.
I'm gonna see if I can find that particularly indescript individual that I spotted in the crowd.
Roll a... Are you getting close, or are you just kind of watching from a distance?
I'm kind of wandering around the caravan a little bit, and particularly I'm looking for anybody that's watching the our caravan and if I don't know where Celine's at, but if Celine's like out and visible, particularly anyone who's looking at Celine. And what did you say? Roll a perception?
Yes. So you don't see that particular nondescript person again, but you. Yes.
I'm actually gonna re-roll that.
Okay.
Dang.
So you don't see that particular nondescript person. What you do see is that every grand once in a while, mostly when you're stopped at night to set up camp, and they kind of set up their own camp, one or two of them are like pointing, like one will quickly like point at like either Serial or Wolfenite or even Thier, and quickly like have a hushed conversation with their partner, and then they kind of go back to patrolling, but you get the feeling they're like kind of keeping an extra eye on those guys in particular.
Okay. And how similar do they all look?
They're all human. They range in age. You've seen some older, probably in their early 50s to late 40s. You've seen them as young as 16. So they span the gambit, which I will, for the record, state that 16 is man-grown in this particular time period.
And can I do any of them have like distinguishable features? Like, do they all look as nondescript as that guy?
Yes, with the exception of one. One of them is wearing black attire. He kind of seems to be the one in charge. You don't see him too often, though. He tends to stay in the center or in the front of the caravan, well away from everyone else. He also seems to be the only one with like a tent to himself. And the way they set up their caravan is at night they kind of ring it in a circle, all their wagons in a circle, and then have guards all around that ring, and then have one or two tents or some tents in the center. This guy always seemed to be in his own tent.
Cool.
Serial, anything you would like to do in particular?
I'll be spending most of my day talking with Vorum, trying to learn more about him.
So, as you talk to Vorum, you discover he says, "Well, yeah, I'm a retired gauntlet. I got tired of smashing in skulls for the certain folk, and I'm fighting the real enemy. Now that I know there's a real enemy to be fighting. I wasn't always like this, you know. The Thunder didn't bless me with his might and valor."
Could you tell me more about this real enemy?
Why? They can tell you. They're those goddamn monsters that come from beyond our world. You know, our plane isn't the only plane in existence, but in fact, there's many a plane, and they all lead to evil. However, the worst offenders, disgusting lot. They're abominations, twisted creatures. They have no place in our world. Aberrations and fiends. To hell with them all. They will feel my hammer and no death.
Cool.
I have to say, I've never actually seen a symbol of the Thunder before. Could you tell me more about those that you follow?
Well, the gauntlet is a memento. I passed on good terms, you know. As for, he pats his stomach. As for Moradin's, well, every dwarf worships Moradin. You'd be a fool not to. It's like you elves not worshipping whatever elf father you have. No offense, I don't study elvish deities.
I take no offense. There's everyone having their own beliefs and their own followings.
But, and then he kind of taps his amulet. This is what kind of puts people a wee bit off, let's say. This is the god of storms, Talos. Go ahead and roll me a religion check again.
I have the re-rolls. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say
Yeah.
you're gifted the rerolls.
Well,
it's easy
once
enough.
per day, so
Yeah.
as long as there's a day in between.
Yeah. So, but with a 14, that's kind of concerning because Talos is a god of storms, but he is never depicted as a good person. He is always an evil, spiteful, vindictive person, launching furious lightning bolts down on his enemies, causing thunderstorms and massive hurricanes to those who displease him. He is a god of destruction more than anything. He is a tempest in all senses of the word.
I could see why it may concern some. But I've come to learn that the world we live in is a tempest of its own.
Hey, there you go. But just remember, you gotta keep an eye out for the real enemy, and everyone needs to do their duty. So long as they do that, then we'll be able to banish the enemy back time and time again.
Right, persistence is key.
As you all camp for this night, you're just starting to pass between two sections of forest. You're just leaving the moors behind. It's a little eerie. It's quiet. The moon is going into its new phase, and so the light at night is getting dimmer. You notice that the families and the non-combatants are hugging closer to the combatants. Anyone with a guard or anyone who is, capable of fighting seems to find themselves surrounded. But people are spooked. As you ready the next day, I want all of you to make me a perception check. Which, no gift of luck, because it is just the first thing you're doing in the morning. 23, 13. Serial, you know the woods. You know the woods better than most. You remember stories, old stories, of a time when creatures of nightmare used to rule forests and your people would fight them. You know that giant spiders exist. You know that they are monstrosities from the darkest nightmares of anyone with sense. You would swear that there is a glistening in the forest in the morning light that shouldn't be there. Not at the angle, not at the orientation, but there's something.
I'm going to go ahead and make that known to the entire group of there is definitely something off this morning.
As the caravan gets ready to march, you hear a commotion from further back. As a woman is actually calling out to someone, probably her husband, calling out in Gnomish. It's a Gnomish woman. But he seems to have gone missing. At least from the frantic way she's calling out, you can easily infer that something has happened to them. Everyone kind of looks around. You see a couple of the other people who hired guards kind of send theirs out to look around. After about an hour's delay, the caravan just kind of packs up and is forced to keep moving.
Celine is, this is gonna be tough for her.
Acronine kind of looks to you all. You can't go wandering into these woods. Can't go doing stupid now. Gets dangerous from here to Daggerford. These moors, these forests, they're not good. They're the opposite.
Kearney, we can't just leave the man. Do you not hear the sorrow in that woman's voice?
I hear it, lass. But there's not a lot we can do. After all, how are you gonna find a gnome in that? And besides, if he's
I
not
assume
dead,
by actually looking, Celine says, kind of looking off in the distance.
if he's not dead by now, he wishes he was.
That
Even
makes
if
it
we found
worse.
him and brought him back, there's no likelihood that he would live. Besides, he gestures down to where a couple other gnomes have kind of absorbed this woman into their small group. It's about 4 or 5 of them. She's not left alone.
And that's you trivializing someone's death.
There's a reason I pay good money for protection.
The money does not matter. Do you understand me, Akerni? Celine is now standing up. The money is not important. I appreciate the coin. I appreciate you paying for us. But some things are more important than coin. And someday you will realize that instead of seeking or ignoring everything that gets put in front of you.
I did my good deed for this trip. I I allowed us to dig
Yeah,
that
you
man
did
out.
what? And Celine just puts her hands on her hips, her small form. Or am I alone in this? Looking at Cereal and Rattlegas. It's one of the few times Celine's been really fired up and just outright
Rattlegas,
defiant.
Rattlegas is very obviously, very blatantly avoiding eye contact.
You
Serial would
see,
actually be zoning out, looking out into the forest, recalling the stories.
you see Fear kind of scratch under his chin with his long claws. Little one, you have much to learn of death. The dead are the lucky ones.
I wouldn't have to learn about death if we didn't just leave things to die.
Envy the dead. Don't wish to join them too soon. And with that, he just kind of trundles off into the carriage where Acrony had already gone. Mariana actually looks at the woods, your satyr paladin.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at the woods. If he went in there, he's gone. These woods are cursed. I can feel it. Ancient evil stirs in here. We need to look to our own defenses.
Celine does not look happy with any of this. It's not for the lack of her own courage, but it's the fact that everybody else who is, remember in her eyes, heroes, just giving up instantly when faced with this trial. And you see her sit, and she knows that she's not strong enough to go on her own. And you could just see her legs kind of give up as she's kind of starting to give up because everybody's arguing against her.
Wolfenite kind of pats Celine on the shoulder as he causes several flowers to bloom, poppies.
Cute.
We can mark his passing.
Serial will be keeping a bit more of an eye out to the woods just in case there's a glimmer of hope for the gnome. But recalling the stories of old and memories, there's more than a little bit of a far sight today.
Celine just kind of looks up, looking at the stars. Could I make a religion check for myself?
What are you hoping to beseech the stars for?
Well, I'm not beseeching them for something, but here. Hold on.
Yes.
I want you to make a perception check.
Perception.
Mm-hmm.
17.
You notice that the cultists are one fewer.
Which one? Do I recognize which
you
one?
don't
is missing?
recognize which one disappeared, but you recognize that they are one down.
Okay.
One of their members has gone somewhere. Roll a religion check, please, Celine.
Sure. And sure, I'm gonna. Well, I'll take the advantage one.
Okay. The stars are dim and waning.
Mm-hmm.
You recall, in this instance, several nights where you actually saw stars wink out and never to be seen again. It doesn't happen often, or at least not that you recall, but you do recall seeing it. And if something as constant as a star can blink out, well, life must end. However,
Got it.
that may happen.
I will roleplay this with consequences, though.
I'm gonna walk up to Serial. Serial, I think we might want to be a little more careful this evening. Keep our eyes outward, but also perhaps inward more than usual.
I agree. I don't think we're going to be getting as much sleep as we would like tonight.
I can share the burden with you.
I would appreciate it.
Celine, seeing herself outvoted, just merely slumps, and you just see her tiredly open her book and just stare upwards.
As you do, you never recall yourself having lost anyone. You've never had anyone to lose. No mother, no father, no friends really. You've never lost anyone. You can't really empathize with what this gnome may or may not be feeling. After all, someone who's never experienced loss can never really understand it.
Weakly, you hear Celine say from up there, "I guess we best keep an eye out then." And you just see her scribble, but her face is softened. That hard determination has divulged into quiet acceptance or even confusion.
As you guys continue on for the day, there's a somberness about the caravan. In fact, one of the things that you do notice right away, is that the cultist caravan that usually kept fairly out in front has actually pulled back and is less than 50 yards from the lead in the caravan. Whereas before they were close to 100 yards. They kept a healthy distance. Close enough that you could respond to any calls of distress or alarm, but nothing really. Now they've cut their distance in half and seem to be hugging closer to the camp. Everybody seems to be on edge here. As you go further into this passage between these forests. And that is where we're going to cut it for the night.
Got it.
Because the next section has some pretty interesting stuff. And you'll definitely want a bigger group for. Hopefully. Thank you all so much for watching. I do apologize for our late start this evening. We had some minor technical difficulties, and we're trying to make sure that everybody could get here. Unfortunately, we're down a couple members tonight, but hopefully they'll be here the next time. So, It is now 2021, everyone. I have spectacular news, but let me finish with the outro for this particular campaign. So, I am, of course, Dr. John Wolfenstein, your wonderful master of dungeons. We have Mr. Rattlegast, played by my brother David.
Thank you very much.
We have Sir Serial, played by Mr. Mason.
It's always a pleasure, and unfortunately, death does come. But we can always take solace in the fact that we got to live our lives.
And the ever optimistic and empathetic Celine, played by the lovely Callie Cat.
I suppose our own survival is important for the greater good, though I cannot remember why it is this way.
We also now have them joined by Mr. Bonram, a dwarven paladin of Talos, it seems. Or maybe
we have a
Morden.
drinking buddy. We gained a drinking buddy on the optimistic side. We gotta end on a good note, guys.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. There is a positive in this.
We gained
we
a
have
drinking buddy.
We have a friend, and you have a new syrup container. All praise
Oh
be
my
the
god, I'm
hummingbird.
so happy about the syrup container. That's gonna get used. I need to actually add that to my items, but I added it to my notes already.
We then, of course, Wolfenite is played by Mr. Matt. Wolfenite is our wildfire earth genasi druid. We then have Mariana Goldenwave, the satyr Oath of Ancients paladin, played by Mr. Eric. And then we have Thierhe, our death domain turtle cleric. They unfortunately were not able to be here, but hopefully next time. So, now, in 2021, I promised you all something fantastic. I promised you that I would be streaming every Wednesday, but I also said that I would not be streaming the same adventure. Instead, I am launching the Seas of Vodari campaign, the Swashbuckling and Sorcery on the High Seas adventure. Please, I highly recommend going and looking them up. It is a fantastic book. It introduces a brand new class, the Gunslinger class, which is perfect for feeling like a real swashbuckler. It also introduces some fun new races, like the Cursed Soul.
Awesome swashbuckling rules were added. If you'd like to add a little bit more martial to your game, that is one of the better, I guess, homebrews?
Yes. And it promises to be a lot of fun. They also offer, I wish I would have found this out before I took the time to actually create these goddamn tokens. They also offer a digital purchase from their website, which you can find simply looking up the Seas of Vodari campaign guide or player's guide. Either will quickly bring you to their website, where they sell a digital set of tokens that you can use on most virtual tabletop simulators. For instance, Roll20, Tabletop Simulator, and a handful of other ones. So it will be, they offer that for about $5. Well worth the price, I think, because I wish I'd have known that sooner, because I literally spent hours.
Oh god, we were talking about this.
Hours on these goddamn tokens with these. Fuck! But I got them
At
done.
least you can have the satisfaction that you did get them done.
Yeah, I would
You
rather
know what?
have
You
saved
know
me
what?
the
You
time.
manhandled it. Give you some credit.
But anyway, so I plan to start that next week. It will be specifically January 13th, 6 to 9 p.m. I will be playing with a couple people you know. White Hill is going to make an appearance in that campaign, as is the lovely Callie Cat.
I'm totally not going to be there. What are you talking about? I'm totally not playing a cat girl and going as ham as possible.
We are likely to have David drop in every grand once in a while as a guest star, and maybe other guest stars will happen as well. But aside from that, most of the crew will be people you've never met before, and so I can't wait to introduce you to this fantastic group of players. I've been playing with them on a private homebrew game every Sunday morning for the last Whoa, has it been over a year already? Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
Probably. It is a level 11 when I heard about it.
Yeah. So I'm excited for you guys to see it. I'm excited to see where it goes. I have been working very hard to write a campaign because there is only a starter adventure in the campaign book. However, there are lots of hooks for the various different locations. All in all, it's a fantastic setting. I can't wait to run it, and we will be running it consecutively with this campaign. So every Wednesday, I will be streaming 6 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. In 2021, it will be the first and third week of every month. Yes, the first and third week of every month I will be running Tyranny of Dragons, and then the second and fourth week of every month, obvious exceptions being obvious, due to the way calendar dates fall. But for the general rule, the second and fourth week of every month, I will be running the Seas of Ordari campaign. I am also looking into how to be a professional DM. So if there is any of you out there who have never actually played D&D before or who may want to, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly through PM, DM, or email, or follow me on TikTok or any of my other social media platforms and message me there. And let me know that you have some interest. And if I am able to make a sustainable living running D&D campaigns, then I will do that. And I will stream all of them. I will stream everyday D&D if I have to. I love running D&D. I love doing homebrew. I love doing these modules. I enjoy it. I really do. But I can't wait for you all to see what Seas of Ordari has in store for you. I know it's going to be a lot of fun for me. I know that my players are really excited for it, and I can't wait. And I want to thank you all so very much for your support. I know you don't have to pick a small-time channel like mine, but for those of you who do, I am honored and beyond grateful that you stop in to watch me and my amazing friends play a game that has been in my life for the majority of my life. I'm 27. I've been playing for 20 years. So, god damn, I'm old, David! We are old! And actually, this year is now the year that anyone with a 1 as the first digit of their birth year is now just automatically 21. Think about that for a minute. People born in 2000 at this time are 21 fucking years old and can drink. Anyone born in the 1-9 don't even.
So hear that, people? Some of them
anymore.
are pretty cute.
Yeah, I turned 25 in April.
Yeah, fucking.
I am the old one.
Not by much.
Hey, you're also the cute one, so shut up.
That too. But yeah, it's a shocking revelation, and I'm still not sure how I process it. For those of you who did come and follow me from TikTok, thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said on there, I will be posting more on TikTok, and I will be trying to stream as much as possible. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching 2021. It's starting out a little crazy. The world is still not quite back to normal, but hey, it doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. So hopefully the year just finishes on a great note, and hopefully we all get some progress and the world kind of calms its tits.
Yeah, let's all finish together.
God fucking damn it, David.
The service, damn it.
No monetization.
I'm gonna consider that a public PSA, you know.
Again, why didn't you just link ZTV's fucking
has like a sailor, you know, like a sailor woman, you know, doing the peace sign. I agree with David there. Let's all finish together.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway,
you've started.
Thank you all so much for watching. I wish you all a very fond week, and I will see you next time on Tyranny of Dragons. Goodbye.